Good evening. Boz Johnson in Huntington.
And Charles Ryan in Charleston with tonight's news picture. The Kanawha County Grand Jury, in an unprecedented 17-page report, has made recommendations for elimination of hazing in schools and has frowned upon the Fraternal Order of Police. In regard to school hazings, which caused the death of a Charleston high school student this year, the jury commended the Kanawha County Board of Education in their investigation. The jurors asked that a further study be made of California and Michigan state laws pertaining to fraternities, sororities, and similar societies in order that a similar law might be introduced to the state legislature. Secondly, the jury requested the County Parent Teachers Association Council formulate a pamphlet of rules and regulations for each student to abide by. The jury agrees that the Parent Teachers Association should proceed in conducting an in-depth study of hazing in county schools. Following the grand jury's report, Superintendent Levenstein had these comments.
We are pleased with the grand jury report. We have attempted to make a fair and impartial investigation of the activities in our schools, and we so reported to the members of the grand jury. We will do everything possible to follow the suggestions of the grand jury, and we have already reported to the County PTA Council statement of our findings along with the suggested rules and regulations, and they have advised us that they will work with us in completing a further investigation. We will do everything possible to get to the bottom of all of the problems facing the school system.
The grand jury reported an investigation to determine the Charleston Police Department's morale and rumors of dissension in the department. The jury says a small percentage of men cause most of the trouble. The jurors blame it on jealousy and ambition. A great portion of the dissension, says the jury, is from the Fraternal Order of Police, which operates as a union. The jury says regulations promulgated by the so-called brass are being opposed by the FOP and require those who oppose the regulations to enforce them. The jury says this is intolerable and destroys discipline. They urge that all officers with the rank of sergeant or above take no active part in the affairs of the FOP when such affairs have any connection with police department policies. The grand jury also asked the following: that political patronage in appointing deputy sheriffs be discontinued, that a major reform take place in the justice of the peace system in the county, and that the Kanawha County Courthouse be cleaned up. Says the jury, quote, "The county courthouse is a disgrace and represents a health hazard by way of pigeon droppings on the roof." More on tonight's news picture after this message.
I've always liked the good things in life. Good art, a good book, good coffee. I'm so particular about my coffee, our cook says, make it yourself. And so I do. Let me show you how. I make it a new way, by the pot, using instant coffee. Not any instant, this one, Instant Maxwell House. So much richer now, it makes a really good pot of coffee. Only one that has this recipe. Use a heaping teaspoon for each cup. Add water, cold water. Then heat, almost to a boil. And let it steep a while to bring out all its flavor. I'll do it my way, see? You like it.
Instant Maxwell House. Now so much richer, you can make it by the pot. Naturally, coffee this rich tastes better made by the cup, too. Instant Maxwell House. Another fine product of General Foods.
Cabell County Sheriff Harold Frankel went to court today seeking to force the county court members to give him money for a two-way radio and extra tax office help. In a request for a writ of mandamus, the Republican sheriff also charged the Democratic court had bought unnecessary office furniture from the county's Democratic chairman. Frankel charges that while the court has refused $400 for radio equipment for an emergency car and $950 for tax office extra help, they purchased a file cabinet and 2 office chairs for his office from Morgan's Incorporated, operated by Cabell County Chairman Hanley Morgan. Furniture which Frankel says he did not request. The items involved: an executive swivel chair costing $310, another chair for $91, and a file cabinet for $246. Court members countered that requests for the equipment had come signed from Frankel's office. It had not been a practice to have departments sign purchase orders, but, say court members, it will definitely be the policy to have the head of the department sign in the future. The court has until November 1st to show cause why Judge John Herford should not grant the mandamus request, which would force the county to provide the money for Frankel's radio and tax office assistant. The executive director of the Appalachian Regional Hospitals Incorporated, Dr. Carl Klicka, says that advisory committees will be formed in communities served by the hospitals. Dr. Klicka says the committees will not include medical personnel. He also says the hospitals probably will not ask for city or county tax funds, but the communities in all likelihood will be expected to hold fund drives to help support special medical projects. The 5 hospitals in question: Hazard, Middlesboro, Whitesburg, Harlan, and McDowell, Kentucky. The Interior Department has approved a $24,800 grant to Martin County, Kentucky for construction of a 10-acre fishing lake near Inez. Kentucky's Senator John Sherman Cooper announced today that the Accelerated Public Works grant had cleared Washington. The State Game and Fish Commission will provide about $8,000 of the total cost. Charles.
The state Supreme Court has ordered Judge William Thompson of the Kanawha County Prosecutor's Office to show why they shouldn't be prohibited from retrying the Willie Dandy case. Dandy, a Charleston businessman, was tried for receiving stolen cigarettes earlier this year. His trial ended as a mistrial. Dandy's attorney, Stanley Prizer, filed a writ of prohibition in the Supreme Court to prohibit any further trial because Dandy had been in jeopardy once. The court has suspended all action in the Dandy case till a decision is made. The court has set October 22nd for the state to file briefs and argue the case. Meanwhile, attorney Rudy DiTrapano has entered a motion to quash an indictment against Glenn Burdett, charged with perjury in the Dandy case. The State Mines Department today released a report on the deaths of 22 miners at Dola near Clarksburg last April. The report says an obsolete but legal ventilating system was a big factor in the mine explosion. The department says the system had been improperly maintained. The report criticized a general attitude of indifference to good ventilation and gas testing practices on the part of both management and non-management personnel. The report of the state follows closely an earlier report by the U.S. Bureau of Mines. Boss?
Former California Congresswoman Helen Gahagan Douglas told Huntington Rotarians today that U.S. aid programs are helping in South America, but a stable continent is a long way from reality. Mrs. Douglas, who served in Congress in the 1950s, visited South America recently. She told the Rotary Club members that such American efforts as the Alliance for Progress, the Peace Corps, and others are providing better than simply pouring money into nations, since they aim more closely at people and the people's problems. However, Mrs. Douglas pointed out that the strength of American democracy lies in the strength of the middle class. And while the middle class is growing in Latin America, it is a slow process. More news in a moment after this message.
Hey, Joe, lunch.
Yeah, let's eat.
Lunchbox special again. Dried out sandwiches.
Oh, not mine.
Ham and cheese on toast. Bet it's hard as a rock by now.
Nope, Mary bags my lunch in baggies. Try it.
Warm it's not, but otherwise, like fresh from the toaster.
Fred sure liked those toasted sandwiches, honey.
I'll make them again, now that I have baggies. Baggies seal in freshness for good. Keeps flavor in, dryness out. Makes an airtight case for freshness. Makes fixing lunches 1, 2, 3. There.
Baggies?
For Fred's wife.
Don't wrap it, bag it in baggies. Amazing just what baggies can do. They hold more than food, hold freshness too. Don't wrap it, bag it in baggies.
It's in the bag.
Get sandwich, food wrap, and jumbo-size baggies.
Huntington city officials know just how the housewife feels when money saved by painful budget trimming just seems to disappear. City Council has spent hours in budget sessions trying to cut money out of item after item in order to provide cash for employee pay raises. Last week, they thought they'd trimmed $12,000 to $15,000. Then, acting city manager Jim White rechecked the figures and said the saving was actually closer to $4,000. Now, this afternoon, White says it's not even that much. Latest estimate, $1,117. This, divided among 300 city workers, will come out roughly to a penny a day increase. Councilman Dameron says he'll argue tonight at council meeting that money saved from recent street resurfacing bids, which came below estimates, and that amounts to $40,000 to $50,000, be used towards salary boosts. It had previously been earmarked for other street work. The owner of a new bowling alley at Oak Hill, West Virginia, says he entered the establishment over the weekend, flicked on a light switch, and barely escaped being killed in the following explosion. Owner Adam Toney says the loss will come close to $500,000. The blast knocked Toney about 30 feet but he suffered only scratches and bruises. Fire officials believe a spark in the light switch ignited fumes from a chemical compound used a few hours earlier on bowling lanes. 19 head of cattle are still reported on the prowl somewhere in Ritchie County, West Virginia. The 19 were part of 112 cattle involved in a truck accident at Nutter's Farm. 39 of the animals either killed or destroyed because of injuries. Others were rounded up. The tractor-trailer hauling them overturned over the weekend. The animals had been purchased at Jackson's Mill, were en route to Illinois. The truck driver, James Bowen, was not hurt. Charles?
Forest fires continue to plague the dry woods of West Virginia. In Kanawha County, several broke out over the weekend. East of the DuPont plant at Bell, several columns of smoke could be seen from the new fires. Further up in the next valley, another smoke column could be seen from the highway. 4 blazes in one area alone. State police have arrested bank teller Benny Welch on a charge of stealing some $4,000 in traveler's checks from the First National Bank of South Charleston. The Kanawha Valley got its first report today from the 1963 United Fund. Tabulating reports from volunteer workers is being done in the window of the Diamond Department Store. Reports are also broadcast each afternoon at 2 o'clock over radio station WKAZ. Total reported contributions today were $116,400. This is about 14% of the goal. Leading divisions are Charleston women and government workers. In percent of goal reached to date, the United Fund drive will be concentrated this week. A special phone is available at the Diamond for spectators to raise questions on the report. The drive supports 32 health and welfare agencies throughout the Kanawha Valley. Back to Boz after this message.
Don't be half safe. Use Arid to be sure.
Yes, new Arid, now fortified with Perstop, stops perspiration stains, stops odor when used daily. Here's why. Your skin is covered with a film of natural oils, a thin, almost invisible film. Basic deodorant ingredients alone can't get through this film effectively to protect you. That's why Arid adds Perstop, to let Arid get right through to your skin where perspiration problems begin. No wonder Arid gives you the most effective roll-on deodorant protection possible.
Remember, don't be half safe. Be Arid safe. Use Arid to be sure. New Arid Roll-On or Arid Cream Deodorant, both with Perstop.
A government official told the Federal Power Commission in Washington today that Union Carbide Corporation should have a federal license for operation of 2 power dams in West Virginia. R.E. Coombs of the FPC's Bureau of Power says power dams affect navigation on the Kanawha and Ohio rivers, therefore should come under federal jurisdiction. The dams are at Hawks Nest and Glen Ferris. A week from today, Armco Steel Corporation will light the free world's largest blast furnace at Ashland, Kentucky. The teenage granddaughter of Armco President Logan T. Johnston, Lynn Johnston, will have the honor of lighting the new furnace. Dubbed the Amanda, the furnace is designed to produce more than 3,300 tons of pig iron a day. Presently, finishing touches are being put on Amanda. Principal speakers for the history-making affair next week, Kentucky Governor Combs and Logan Johnston. And that's tonight's news picture.
From Charles Ryan in Charleston.
And Boz Johnson in Huntington. The full half-hour Huntley-Brinkley report next on Channel 3. Thanks, and good night.